Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Adrian's Digital Basement 2. On today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this trash found 20-inch Philips television that I've recently had on the main channel, where I got this thing fixed up and working. We're out in the garage here, hence the change of scenery, so I apologize about the echo, because what I want to take a look at and try to address in this video is this CRT has scratches on the middle of the glass. And that came from the fact that this thing was found in the trash. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link to it down below. I recommend you pick it up, you watch that. And when I say found on the trash, it was actually found in the dirt on the side of the road, and it was laying face down. And I think at some point, it had either been placed on the concrete, or maybe there were some rocks in the dirt it was sitting on, or whatever. And it got some minor scratches in the middle of the screen, which are very annoying to me. So this isn't the only CRT that I have with scratches. I have, let me try and think about it. I at least have that one Philips monitor, which has a really nice CRT in it, high resolution 13-inch, that I would love to get fixed. And I also have a compact all-in-one that's got scratches, and I'd love to fix that as well. So I've been asking around, asking people maybe methods of trying to clean up the scratches. And I think the general consensus is that you have to polish the glass. Now, before we get started with that and how I'm going to do it, what I want to do is try to show you what the scratches look like on this set. So obviously we have it hooked up to my Famiclone, and I'm going to enter into, let's see, under Tools, the 240 test suite. And let me bring up a solid full field image, which more clearly will show the problem. All right, so yeah, full field image is where it's the most obvious. And let me reposition the camera so we can kind of take a closer look at this. Okay, I've locked my camera into manual focus mode, and hopefully this is in focus. But right there is one of the scratches, and there's another one right above it. They're almost more like scuffs, but if I run my fingernail over it, it really catches. See that? So they're deep. They're not just surface scratches. You couldn't get this out by, say, using toothpaste or something like that. In the video where I repaired this television, I tried to use some nail polish, clear nail polish, and fill in the scratch, and then use a razor blade to try to clean that up. But that really didn't, well, that didn't really do anything at all. So I've actually cleaned that out using some acetone, so this is just back to the way it was. But yeah, you can see that how my fingernail catches on that. And it's very distracting. Anytime you have a full field image or a solid color that's light in the middle, and you're sitting even a distance away from the screen, it just looks like it's got some dirt on it or something that you just can't clean off. Now, from a size perspective, these are maybe like 3.5 centimeters long, 4 centimeters long each, or especially the bottom one. The top one is a little bit less. So it's not huge, and it's just in the middle of the screen. Because the middle of the screen is the part that's the most bulbous, or is sticking forward the most. So if you lay this thing flat on any kind of concrete surface, and you have to remember that rocks and sand can definitely scratch glass. It's often harder than glass, and will do the scratches if you just lay it face down on any kind of like little bits of things and you slide it, it will really badly scratch CRT. Metal generally does not scratch CRT fronts. So if you hit it with a key or something like that, I don't think it would get scratched. Glass is pretty hard, but we have to remember what glass is made out of. It's sand, basically, or the ingredients of sand, and therefore sand is strong enough, or hard enough rather, to scratch the glass. Now this set, by the way, once I cleaned it up, is pretty good shape. Like, I don't see a lot of scratches around the front of the bezels here. So I don't know where the scratches came from, but up at the top corner, right where my finger is here, it's quite dented in. Incidentally, that is where the color distortion was on the set. I have a neodymium magnet stuck on the CRT on the inside, and it's right around here. There's some color distortion. So I'm wondering if there was a very hard impact right here at some point, bam, and that's warped the deflection, or sorry, the shadow mask a little bit that caused that color distortion. But that's not the subject of this video. The subject of this video is how to get these scratches out, about that long there and that long there. So for repairing scratches, I started doing some looking around, and I figured what's something that has glass all over it and that the glass gets scratched and it's very annoying. No one's really talking about fixing CRTs anymore in this day and age. So if you look at YouTube, you're not going to see a lot of that. But what you do find are videos on fixing scratched windshields, because it's pretty common, and this happened to me actually. A little rock flew up on my windshield and got lodged under my windshield wiper, and this was during the rain, and I ran the windshield wiper. Now luckily it was pretty minor actually, but I could see it under certain conditions and it did kind of annoy me, but the fact is I could only see it when the sun was at a certain angle, so it wasn't that annoying. But I think it can be a lot worse, or maybe your wiper arm, like the wiper flies off and you like really scratch the heck out of your windshield, and then, well, windshields can be expensive, so that can be quite a lot of money to repair. So I started looking at videos on how to repair it, and I found one. I'll link it down below, and it seemed easy enough, the repair method they were going to use. So they said what you need to use is some of this hand cleaner that has pumice in it. So this is like Fast Orange brand, and some rubbing compound. These are things you would normally use for, well, this you'd use to clean your hands. This you would use to do paint correction on your car if you're trying to really get a layer of grime off before you do a full wax. I'm not a car detailer, so I don't really know all the specifics about it, but in this video they said to take this and you combine it together onto a pad, and you use one of these things here, which is a device used for buffing or polishing paint on cars. And this is a cheap, inexpensive one I got off Amazon specifically because I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't want to buy an expensive one, and I'm not going to be doing any kind of car detailing anytime soon, so I thought this would be perfect. And because I don't care about this set at all, and obviously with this pumice, I don't know, we could ruin the set and put big scratches all over it. I don't really care. This thing I found in the trash. It's not even a very good television. Obviously you can see it works fine, and for playing video games from 6 feet back, it's fine. But the image is pretty soft, and it can't be really made any better because I think it's just kind of worn out. So therefore, I figured this would be the perfect thing to experiment on. And if this is a success, then I'm going to try this on other things. So in asking the question about doing this polishing of the glass, people mentioned that CRTs use leaded glass, which I think means there's some lead mixed in with the glass. So if you polish it and you're taking a layer off to try to erase some scratches, obviously you don't want to do that in a place where you're going to be breathing in the dust that it's going to be creating. So you don't want to do this inside, which is why I'm in my garage, which is a detached garage. It's not even attached to my house. And then the last thing to consider is the TV is nice and clean now. I cleaned it all up on the inside, or on the outside at least, so I don't want to get that all dirty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this stuff here. This is painter's plastic. You can open this up. I'm going to cover the whole set, and I'm just going to use painter's tape and just expose the middle part of the CRT, and that way any kind of slurry of this stuff that, say, drips down doesn't go into the bezel and the controls and stuff like that, because the TV is working properly now, and I don't want to mess that up. Now there's some music or sound even here. Yes, by the way, when I repaired this TV, I think one of the buttons wasn't working, but I've gone ahead and switched out all the micro switches, and well, it works now. Yeah, so there's channel 2, there's the AV input, and volume up down works as well. Anyways, I don't want to get that slurry into there, so I'm just going to spend a moment. I'll do a jump cut. I'm just going to cover the TV up with this stuff. All right, the TV is protected in the plastic, and I have this bumpy foam pad on here. This thing has a speed control. It's going to blow the plastic around. I should probably tape that up a bit more on the table. Now, I'd like to point out that I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I've never used this thing in my life. I mean, I know how to use power tools, but I think I'm going to have to stand on that side, obviously, because I have the handle on here. This thing is pretty industrial. Let's see here. That is speed level 3. Let's go all the way to 7, which is the highest speed. That seems too fast. I don't think I'll run it that fast. And in the video, the guy who did it said for the windshield, I think he was working on the back window of a SUV, he said it takes a lot of elbow grease and it takes a lot of time. And these scratches are pretty deep, although the area is not that big. I only have to concentrate in this one small area. But I assume it's not going to be the quickest process, but I guess that's why I'm doing this, to really figure this out. And the video wasn't specific on anything other than, like, this happened to be the stuff they were using. This is Turtle Wax brand, and that's probably way too much. So I'll just spread that around a little. That's going to spray everywhere, isn't it? I wonder if I should have wet this thing first and then just said use some of this pumice stuff as well. Okay. Here we go. Now my hand is covered in it. Let's just rub that in there. Why not? I should really get something to wipe my hand, I think. All right, here we go. Yeah, that's sprayed everywhere. Did that do anything? It certainly doesn't seem like it did at all. I mean, I'm trying to think that the scratches are less severe than they were, but I can't really tell you if that's for real or not. And this is making a huge mess. I'm so glad I put this plastic on everything. Just gonna work this stuff into the pad. Okay, without a doubt, it's minimizing the scratches. So I feel like, as mentioned in the video that I watched, you just gotta give it some elbow grease, and that should really help a lot. Now, there's a lot of spray. It's kind of gone everywhere, but I'm in the garage, I don't care. So it's all over the table, but I can clean that up. And the whole back of the TV's covered, so it's not even getting on the case. So here we go. The scratches are still there, but way less deep, way less deep. Now, it goes without saying, of course, this pad that I'm using on this thing, I will never use this on a car if I'm ever polishing a car, because it's full of pumice now. It'll scratch the paint. But glass, on the other hand, this seems to be doing the trick. What a mess, what a mess. This is all over the place here. Just wipe it up off the... Certainly warm, like right in the middle there where I'm rubbing it. The glass is warmer. So it's definitely making a dent. I'm not even yeah, I can still just see it. It's very faint though. All right, so I'm trying to clean it off, or so I can see it clearly with the reflection. I can still see the scratch, it's right there. But it's very minor now. And looking straight on, I'm not sure I can even see it anymore. Definitely heats the glass up locally, so it's pretty warm right in that spot, but I guess that's the foam rubbing on it plus the rubbing compound. So I can feel the scratches with my nail, just, but it's not catching like before. I can just see them. Let me get the flashlight. Yeah, I mean, they're there, they're visible still. Feels like with a car, you can really push on the glass. Well, the TV's sort of sliding on the table here. Can't really push on it. But I have to think that the way it is right now, if I clean up the set, no, maybe it's still visible. I mean, I can still see it there. I think it'll be very minimized though. I can't believe the mess that this has made. There's this compound everywhere. Well, I'm gonna do it a little bit more and see what happens. I think I'm gonna stop here. It's warm, I don't wanna push my luck. I think when I peel this off, we're not gonna really see the scratch anymore. I mean, I see it at an angle, but it's very, very faint, and I can see the sharp edges are kind of polished, so to speak, of course. So, yeah, let me peel this off and, and let's plug the TV back in. See what happens. All right, well, it goes without saying that this is messy, and I should have worn gloves and clothes that I knew were gonna get dirty. But I still see the bigger scratch. There was the smaller one above. I don't really see that. And there was one very small one right there, and I still see that one. Looks like just a scratch that was horizontal, but I didn't really notice it before, so it must not have really impacted the picture that much, because I really could just see these two bigger scuffs. All right, so the TV's plugged back in. We'll turn that on. So it's still visible, only the bigger one. Let's switch colors here. Let's see. Okay, does that even show up in the camera at all? It's right there, the deeper one, and it almost looks like the screen has, how do I explain it? Like a little bit of a clear, like if we took nail polish, clear nail polish, and painted it on the screen. So it's causing the dots, the phosphor dots, to refract a little bit. So it kind of, I don't know, it just gives you a little bit of a rainbow effect. The one above is completely gone. And I guess I can, now that I know this one is here, I can just see this other scratch, but that one's not distracting. That is still distracting. And is there another one here? Oh, there's actually another scratch over here too. I never even really noticed. Yeah, it's just a little pinprick scratch. Maybe that was the top one, and the bottom one is mostly gone. Yeah, okay, so it's better. It's definitely better, but it's still visible. But it's actually a lot less distracting. Like, I mean, I'm zooming, well, I'm paying attention to it, so it's bothering me. But if I were just playing a game, I'm not sure I would even see that. So that is an improvement. And it goes without saying that I could have just continued what I was doing with the polishing, and it probably would have gone away entirely. It feels like there's a little bit of a scratch there. It's almost like the polishing has taken away the sharp edges of the scratch, which were making it look darker on screen than it is now. But now you have this kind of rainbow effect. Plus, as I talk, I'm like spitting on the screen, which has a similar effect. Kind of creates a little bit of a slight rainbow. I don't know how to really describe it any other way. And I have no idea if that's showing up in camera. But yeah, the main one is that right there. There's a little thing down here as well. And then there's a scratch over there. So I really never even noticed the other scratch over there. And I don't think I caused it by polishing. I think it's just basically, since it's softened the edges of it, now it has a little bit of that rainbow effect. So it's kind of visible. You know, it's improved. It is definitely improved. Okay, so Super Mario Bros. 3. Maybe would this be distracting to anyone? You know what? This is not distracting at all. This is a huge improvement compared to how it was. Much, much better. It's still, like, there it is right there. But I think if a normal person who wasn't so picky as me were playing, they wouldn't care as much. Not at all. Whoops. Oh dear. Talking and playing, never my forte. I could never be a game streamer. Yeah, I mean, it's not half bad. It's not, that was a success. It tells me that basically, if I had just given some more elbow grease, yeah, that sucked, then I could have gotten rid of it entirely. So just some more work, and to be honest, I don't feel like taping this back up and getting dirty again and spraying that stuff all over the place, so I'm not gonna do it. But it's totally doable, and that's what's excellent. So if you know of ways or products to use that are better and maybe more abrasive and it would go faster, then I guess let me know. But to be honest, that wasn't too bad. It would have been better if I had the TV screen up. That way I could put more pressure on the screen and it wasn't so tiring holding that tool. That tool's kind of heavy. But it wasn't that bad at the end. And if I know now to just use better PPE, cover myself up, wear clothes that I don't care if they get dirty, gloves, and yeah, that kind of thing. And then don't leave anything around the room that I don't mind if it gets sprayed on. In fact, like if we look at some of my other pads, they're kind of covered in little dots now. Luckily, they're all still wrapped up, so I can just wipe that off. And that will not ruin those pads from any other use. But yeah, I mean, on this screen, obviously, you know, I can see it, it's right there. But to be honest, if I'm further away, I don't care. That was a success. That was absolutely a success. Okay, now that I see on the blue there, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, there we go, polishing glass. I am sure there are techniques that are much more effective than what I did. And oh my God, that's so bad. I'm sure there are techniques that are way better than what I did that, you know, would do a better job, or I could go faster speed or put more product on there or whatever. I don't know. Is this really in focus? Yeah, I think it was in focus. Good. But over Mario's head there is where the visible scratches or smudge. I mean, to be honest, when I rub my finger on it, I barely feel it. So I feel that it's like very close to being completely taken care of. But that was a good experiment. So yeah, anyways, okay, I'm gonna stop babbling now. If anyone has any thoughts about better products to use, better techniques, I'm all ears. Like I said, I've never done anything like this. I've never used that orbital thingy majiggy I just was using in my life. So I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm sure people who have a lot of experience using that stuff and polishing glass will have way more interesting things to tell me, better things to try. But this is not something I do very often, right? So I don't want to buy expensive stuff. So I think that polishing thing I have is good enough. And I just need to get a better technique to get it out. But I mean, obviously, I made a big difference on this set, which is excellent. Probably off camera at some point in the future. I just need to take a shower now to get all this stuff off of me. I will probably try this again and just see if I can get this completely rubbed away entirely. And then it may be a matter of me trying it on the Scratch CRT that's in the Philips Magnavox monitor, the one I recently showed on the channel. It's like a 1084 inside, because I wouldn't mind switching back to the high-res CRT because I have the low-res non-Scratch CRT in there. And with the high-res one, it'll look a lot better for future mods like RGB and stuff than the one I have now. So yeah, this is great. And then my little compact all-in-one, it's got some scuffs right in the middle too. I'd love to get rid of those. And I think this is a great tactic. And that thing is kind of square, so I can actually tilt that with the screen up, tape it all off, and do this. All right, that's gonna be it for this video. Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Huge thanks to my supporters that make it possible to do this full time. Without their help, I'd have to get a regular job, and that would suck. I really love playing around with this old stuff and making videos for all of you to watch and enjoy. And thanks to everyone I recently got to meet at VCF in Dallas. I just got back from that the other day. When you're watching this video, maybe it'll be out of order with another video, I don't know. But it was really fun meeting everyone, and the folks who put on that show did an amazing job, and I have to give them huge props. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone there in Dallas. And that's gonna be that. So stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Polishing more CRTs. Bye.